What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Danielle S. Reed, Atlanta publicist, social media manager, and all-around media girl. I am so excited because I have decided, because this is such a monumental occasion, to review the first season of Insecure. Depending on how it goes, I will review every single season, all the way up to the iconic season 5. Finale and last season of Insecure. If you do not know the HBO series created by Issa Rae, Insecure, go ahead and sit back and relax and enjoy this review, because we are going to start with episode 1, titled Insecure as F. So just a couple of points for those who have already watched Insecure. Of course, we know how dynamic and amazing this show was, and really how historic, I believe. I believe Insecure did make history, being one of the very first HBO shows or prime TV shows to star a black female lead, but also an entire cast of dynamic, amazing actresses. Yvonne Orji, Amanda Seales, Issa Rae. We'll get into all of the cast and characters as we dig into episode 1. But I'm going to try to avoid spoilers for those who have not seen all 5 seasons of Insecure. There is a lot, but we are going to jump in with episode 1, season 1. All right, and so let's go ahead and get started. In the very beginning, episode 1 opens with a super dope and iconic song, Kendrick Lamar's "We Gon' Be All Right." We gon' be all right. So you already know the vibe it's giving. We're in Inglewood, California. We are seeing different scenes of the city, which this show is really great at showing different parts of Inglewood. And we really start off right here in the classroom with Issa D. That's the name of Issa Rae's character, Issa D. And she's standing up in front of this classroom, talking to a group of students that are super rowdy, super disrespectful, and they're asking all these questions about her personal life. So you automatically find out all of these things, which is, 1, she has been in a relationship for over 5 years, but she's not married. For any black woman who is single, you've probably heard or probably been teased or asked, why are you not married yet? We'll get into that whole societal construct later. And so Issa tries to put the kids in her place, in their places, by basically just saying, look, y'all, at the end of the day, we're here for We Got Y'all. We Got Y'all is the nonprofit organization that she works with and works for. And then you'll get into the episode to see how kind of really over the job it looks like she is. She's very kind of passive about her job. The next scene that we go straight into, which is very, very important and something I had to remember was mentioned in the very first season, because this is very important. It comes up later. In Issa's conversation with her best friend Molly, she tells her that she wants to break up with Lawrence. Out the bag, immediately. The first thing, she's like, I'm thinking about breaking up with my boyfriend. Skirt. Okay, that's a red flag. If your friend tells you that they want to break up with your boyfriend, usually you're like, oh, wow, why? What's the reason? But Molly's like, there's no way. You're not going to do that, girl. I don't believe it. So she's not really hearing her. Next, we also find out that it is Issa's birthday. So, of course, on this day that she's at work, first of all, sis, why are you working on your birthday? Do we do that? She goes home and she sees Lawrence on the couch. And so, ultimately, we're in a stage in episode 1 where Issa's working and Lawrence is not. And one thing that stuck out to me is Issa says, Black women are tired of being expected to settle for less. So this is something that she says to the students in the opening scene. So Black women are tired of being expected to settle for less. Remember that. Remember that she says that, because that is very important to what happens next as we continue into episode 2 and the rest of the season. So then we get a piece and a taste of Daniel. So just to let you know, Daniel, we don't really get a lot of information about him in episode 1. All we see is some Facebook messages, it looks like, that they're exchanging. But all we can assume is that it may be Daniel is an old flame or an old boyfriend. And I know that this is something that Issa says in episode 1. How different would her life be if she went after what she wanted? Hint, hint. Okay, what would her life be like if she went after what she wanted? And so we go on to scenes and see a very stark contrast to her friend Molly. Molly, honestly, is one of my favorite characters in Insecure. Why wouldn't she be one of your favorite characters? She is this boss hotshot lawyer sitting in a nice, beautiful office with a view overlooking the city. When we see Molly, we see her at work and we see that she's texting a guy, and she talks to her assistant or her colleague, who we can assume is Asian or white, who has a boyfriend named Jamal, who we can assume is black. And Molly is like, oh yeah, I've been dating outside my race and it's going great. Things are great. And so then she goes into this whole conversation where she's like, oh, let me text this guy, or this guy texts her and she's like, oh, let me call this guy. And then he doesn't pick up. And she basically kind of tries to cover and cape for the fact that this guy isn't really that into her, this Middle Eastern guy that she's talking to her colleague about. But she lies and is like, oh girl, he just is busy when he tried to call her. And he was like, hey, I'm not really trying to talk to you. All right, the next scene we see is when Issa goes home. So she's sharing an apartment in the Dunes, which is now like a very, very popular area to visit in California due to this amazing show. And so you see how Issa comes in. Lawrence is on the couch. She's like, why aren't you ready? It's her birthday and they're supposed to be going somewhere. And he was like, oh, I bombed my job interview. And so she sits down to kind of listen. And so what we can infer is that Lawrence is clearly interviewing and applying for jobs. And he talks about how he bombed this interview. He really just didn't know what to say. He really, it seemed like it was in person. He said he spilled something on the person that he was talking to. So it just seems like he's in this very awkward stage in his life where he's like bombing interviews in a bad way, like not getting the job. Okay. So of course this is like sad and pitiful information to give your girlfriend on her birthday, but he uses it as an excuse, as a reason for why they should not go out to celebrate Issa's birthday. Please, please don't do this. If you're going to take any notes, men, take notes about Lawrence now and compare them to Lawrence later. Just to give y'all a hint, the glow ups are going to be so amazing. Y'all just wait on it. So something that Lawrence says that really stuck out to me in this first episode that you should pay attention to is he says, I'm really getting my ish together. And so immediately, even as Issa is getting ready to leave in this same scene, before she walks out, she makes a comment. And so, I was actually surprised. I forgot how quickly she mentions the breakup to Lawrence, but she actually says, hey, I don't know if this is really working out for me. I don't know if I can do this anymore. And he's like, what are you talking about? And she's just telling Lawrence, like, I don't think I can do this. Like, she mentions Molly and kind of her dating. And he was like, oh, well, Molly's standards are like way too high. And then Issa makes like a under the breath kind of comment and was like, maybe I should have lowered my standards. Or she said something about, maybe I should have lowered my standards. Something to the effect that Issa lowered her standards basically to be with Lawrence. Or maybe she's with someone because she lowered her standards versus Molly, who is still looking for her right fit. But y'all get the point. Issa's like, maybe because I lowered my standards. And so Lawrence gets offended by that. And there is a little bit of a back and forth there. And so it's really important to see how Issa is not exactly forthright in saying, I want to break up with you now. Peace. Bye. Like some sisters I know would happily, and not happily, but easily do. She kind of, again, passively, I believe Lawrence asked the question, so are we good? And she's like, when she walks out the door. So again, they're on the rocks. Like Issa's already told her girlfriend, I want to break up with my boyfriend. She's trying to go out We know that she's going out to possibly meet up with Daniel because she saw something that he posted. So it's like she's already moving on. Sis is moving on. So next we get to Molly and Issa showing up to this place. Molly is all of a sudden already looking around like, what? We can kind of assume that Molly is bougie. Let's just call it what it is, bougie. And she is used to a certain quality of life, certain places that she likes to go. But, and to the point where, and I have had, I guess, a couple of friends like this, but I don't like girls like this, who are like, I'm not going in. I don't like this place. I don't like the look of it. I'm not going in. No, I hate girls like that. Like, oh, can we just please try it? Like, can we go inside? But Issa sits there, tries to convince Molly, hey girl, it's my birthday. Hello, what kind of friend is that? Like, your friend picked this place. How are you going to be like, no, I don't want to go. It's her birthday. Okay, come on. She's like, come on, I'll buy you a drink. Like, trying to really, really persuade Molly to go into this place. So they go in. I believe Molly asked, like, oh, did you break up with Lawrence? And she was like, Issa was like, yeah. No, you didn't, girl. She mentioned it, though, so I'll give her credit for that. So, I'm going to give my thoughts on this episode at the end. I'm trying to get just through the review of everything. Then I'm going to tell you my thoughts. Because there's a lot that goes down in this episode with Molly and Issa that I totally forgot about. Totally forgot about. But it's important. All right. So now that we're in this club, we see that we get introduced to a character. I believe his name is Gerald. Remember Gerald? That's the light-skinned guy that Molly talks to in the club. They kind of start to vibe. Molly gives Issa the look like, girl, go away. So Issa makes her way to the bar. And so Molly kind of gets booed up with this guy named Gerald. And then Issa goes to the bar. And then all of a sudden we see sexy fine Daniel. So Daniel pulls up on Issa. They greet each other. I believe they sit down, they get drinks. And then they start talking and catching up. So in this conversation with Issa and Daniel, we get a little bit more information about their past relationship and where they are now. So it seems like they made a lot of references to like high school and college. They also talk about the fact that they both used to rap together. I don't know if this was in the studio or just for play. But, you know, Issa loves to do her motivational thing in the mirror where she kind of raps and writes these lyrics to herself to try to just kind of pump herself up in the morning. I don't know if it's like a form of affirmations or whatnot, but we'll get to Broken Pussy in a second. It's coming. But she writes these songs that, and you tell me in your comments how you feel about some of these songs that she's writing. So next, Daniel basically encourages Issa to get on stage. They are attending an open mic. So you see all these different performers on stage. Some are good, some are bad. But Issa's like, of course not. I'm not about to go on stage. Like, that girl is awkward. She is shy. But Daniel, he's like, why not? Do it. You have nothing to lose. And surprise, surprise, Issa actually gets up on stage. So all we know is we hear the beat drop. Dun, 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 'cause I'm a boss. Yes, so they start playing Khaleesi's Bossy, and Issa breaks out this rap with that she calls Broken Pussy. Oh my goodness. It's a hilarious song to me, but it also is just a bop, honestly. I actually have it on my playlist for real. After this first episode, when this dropped years ago, like, I definitely saw and found it on the soundtrack. So here's where things get a little go left. Molly sees Issa on stage. Gerald is like, is that your girl on stage? And she's like, what the? Now, I understand Molly being surprised that Issa gets on stage because she's not someone who just in the first 20 minutes of the show you would expect to be getting on stage, performance, etc. But we know it's her birthday. We know she's already made reference to what if she did things differently? What if she went after the life that she wanted? What if she started living the life that she really wants to live and doing the things she really wants to do? You can tell that maybe she's trying to not let fear hold her back from different experiences. So Issa gets on stage and starts rapping. She starts off kind of nervous, but then the crowd starts to move. She gets into her groove. She starts smiling, and she's like, broken pussy. Yeah, yeah, broken pussy. So it's just like, wow, okay. So she kind of really goes in. The crowd starts to cheering. They start shouting and screaming. So it's like a big success. Now we cut to the next scene. And we see a very, very salty Molly. So what happens following Issa getting off stage is immediately a fight. Which, this is the part I completely forgot about episode 1. Like, what? We fighting? With the best friend? So Molly is pissed. Like, not just mad, not salty, mad. Like, pissed. Like, calling her out her name. They get in the car. Molly's like, they fight. They basically fight. Molly's like, I can't believe you performed that song about me. I can't believe that you went up there and did that to me. And Issa's like, what are you talking about? So if you were confused about this fight, let me rewind and unpack it for you. Because girl fights be so stupid. They can be over the littlest little thing. Okay, I promise. So if you remember earlier in the scene, I think it's like the second scene in this episode, Molly and Issa frequent and go to an Ethiopian restaurant, which comes up later in the seasons and shows as well. It's like their favorite place to go get food. At this Ethiopian restaurant, Molly has told Issa, oh, things are working out with the Middle Eastern guy, boo-hoom, wham, wham, wham. And this is still, I believe, on Issa's birthday. Because they go to the club, like, I think later, the day after or the day of her birthday. So long story short, Molly's like, oh, I don't know what's wrong with me. Nobody wants me. Nobody loves me. I've been dating in these streets. It's like when I have sex, it's too fast. When I don't have sex, I'm I'm not fun. I'm not cool. I'm not sexy. She's like, it's so tough to date. Of course, yes, she's right. Duh. Yes, it's tough to date. Blah, blah, blah. Especially if you're a black woman. But Issa kind of is just trying to say something to make her feel better. So what she ends up saying is, girl, maybe your pussy broken. First of all, what does that even mean? And Molly says, huh, girl, what'd you say? She was like, oh, Issa makes up some lie. This is a lie. It's definitely a white lie. Oh, I read somewhere that pussies be breaking. So maybe your pussy broken. Broken pussy. So Issa mentions that kind of term, broken pussy, to Molly. And actually, it makes her kind of feel a little bit better. I mean, but that's how friends go. I mean, even when you're in the most tragic situation, your friends just try to say things to make you feel better, whether they make sense or not, whether they're true or not. They just kind of say things to move the conversation on so you can get out of that low place, get out of that rut. So that's what Issa does. She's a good friend. She's like, let me try to cheer my friend up on my birthday. And just tell her, like, girl, maybe it's your pussy broken. But what Molly doesn't realize, or maybe it's because she doesn't know, is Issa probably already had the whole rap written. And it came from a song that Issa wrote, which she performs at the club. So back to the fight. One thing that I wrote down that Molly says in this fight, which I don't agree with, is she says, you only listen to me because I make you feel better about yourself. Now, there were some definitely shots thrown in this fight in the car with Issa and Molly. And I remember it gets so serious to the point where Issa's like, am I still spending the night at your crib? Because when Issa left the house, she told Lawrence she was going to stay the night with Molly. Hint, hint. She not coming home. She not coming home, bruh. So she was supposed to spend the night with Molly. I think they pull up to Molly's crib. I think she just gets out. And Issa pulls off. But that fight was really crazy. Like, I really felt like it was really contentious. Molly really made the fight all about her. She's like, I can't believe you went up there and made fun of me. And Issa is trying to tell her, Molly, that song has nothing to do with you. The song is not about you. And she said, but look at what I did. I was able to step outside of my comfort zone, get on stage in front of a crowd of strangers, and rock the whole crowd with this random bathroom rap that she wrote called Broken Pussy, but at the end of the day, Molly is all into herself, only thinking about herself, only mad about it. Cause maybe in my mind, I really didn't even understand what Molly was so pissed off about. I really don't even understand why she was so mad. maybe if I really reach to try to get into the mind of Molly, maybe she was embarrassed about the song in front of the guy, which if we go back to it, Molly does literally tell the guy that she met at the club, Gerald, she was like, that song is about me. And he looks at her and he's like, and then he scoots away. So, yeah, like at the end of the day, girl, why would you tell a guy that a song called Broken Pussy is about you? You don't even know that for a fact, sis. Like, come on, calm down. But she was mad and embarrassed, I guess. So she literally did not even acknowledge, congratulate, or say good job, Issa, or good for you, Issa, or anything. It was all about Molly, and Molly was mad. So she's like, bye. So Issa pulls off next. And where does she go? She pulls up on Daniel. Good, sexy, fine, chocolate, dark skin Daniel. So Daniel is a whole snack and it gets better, I promise. So, Molly also in that fight said, you only brought me here to hook up with Daniel. Duh, bitch. Like, yes, bitch, it's my birthday. What we doing? Yeah. Y'all let me know if you were Molly in this situation, would you be upset at your friend or supportive? She accuses Issa of being selfish and only thinking about herself. That's a real big stretch. It's the day after her birthday. All she did was pick a place to go see a guy that she has history with. I don't see what's so wrong about that. Now, maybe Issa should have told Molly that, but if she had told Molly, Molly would have probably said no and she wouldn't have went with her. That's what girls do. I don't know. And so Issa has a rebuttal before we move on from the fight. I took some notes, y'all. Issa's rebuttal is she pulled, Issa just was like apologetic, but I did write down that Molly calls Issa a dumb bitch. That's, woo, baby, we couldn't just be friends with you calling me a dumb bitch. Like, what? She calls her a dumb bitch and she gets out the car. So that's a serious fight. Like, you don't just throw words out like that to your best friend when you're not really pissed off. So she was really pissed off. So now Issa pulls up on Daniel with a bottle of wine. Let's see what's gonna happen. All right. So Issa pulls up on Daniel. He hops in the car. And of course, she's like, oh my goodness, I'm about to cheat. Oh no. Like, she hasn't really broken up with Lawrence, but she basically told Lawrence what it is. Like, I'm not really trying to be in this relationship anymore. And so Issa's like, oh my goodness, Daniel, like, I don't know if I should be here. I probably should leave. Daniel's like, look, you here already. So what's up? And then there is this really, really cute little line. I gotta mention it because I love Drake. I think Issa was playing a Drake song. And so Daniel makes a comment, which is so factual. Every black girl in the world that went to college loves Drake. That's a fact. And we're going to get into it. I'm probably going to give y'all a video unpacking all of the Drake songs throughout each episode because I'm a big Drake fan and we need to do that. So Issa agrees and she's like, really? And I'm like, yeah, baby. Every girl, black girl that went to college loves Drake. And then they share a kiss. I forgot about this. Like, y'all, rewatching episode 1 after you've watched all these seasons like 4 or 5 years ago, like, oh my goodness, like, rewatching episode 1, I was so like, oh, what? So they kiss. So Daniel and Issa kiss in the car. It was a cute little kiss too. And Issa starts to freak out a little bit because she's like, oh no. When you've been in a relationship for so long, first of all, you don't want to cheat. But second of all, like, she can't even believe that she's got this option right here, right? Who's clearly interested in her from way back when. And so she starts to talk and babble, and this totally ruins the whole mood. She was like, you've always been my what if guy. Why would you say that to a nigga? Why would you do that? Why would you tell a guy he's always been your what if guy? I'm sorry, even if it's true, that don't sound good, girl. She was like, Daniel, you've always been my what if guy, but I'm still in kind of a relationship kind of thing. And so I don't really know what to do. And so I'm kind of confused. I don't really know if we should be doing this. And I'm not ready for a next relationship. And he's like, whoa. And he's like, who said anything about a relationship? I'm not really looking for that right now. And she was like, good to know. Okay. So that kind of, kills the mood there. Daniel says, I'm not looking for a relationship. And then the next scene, we see Issa shows back up to Molly's house with some Cheetos, and I don't know what she was holding, like some ranch dip. I don't know what kind of combination that is. And then Issa was like, bitch, you still mad? End scene. And Molly lets her in, and I guess that's the makeup. But look, this is a lot. So first of all, what is your opinion on Molly and Issa's relationship here? My thing is, if you're best friends with somebody and you know your friend, why would you not support them when they do something extraordinary, special, or something that takes them out of their comfort zone? Like, I'm a big supporter of my friends when I know that they are doing something that is challenging, difficult, or brand new. I really, really was surprised that Molly was pissed off at Issa getting up on stage. And it makes me wonder, like, if Issa had rapped a different song, would she not have been mad? Or would she still have been mad? Because even if it wasn't Broken Pussy, if it was like some other song, Get These Dollar Bills, y'all, would Molly have still found some way to get upset at Issa? Or was it really just because Issa had mentioned to Molly something about the broken pussy and then she had a song ready for it? Who knows? But I still feel like that fight was very telling. The fight between Issa and Molly in the car. That argument, we are going to see some things come up in this season. Well, not even this season, in later seasons, that goes back into some of the nuances of Molly and Issa's relationship. Issa seems to be very sweet, very open to Molly. Molly can be very stuck in her ways and very specific to what she wants and her beliefs. And she doesn't care if you agree with it or not. That's how she feels, and how she feels is how she feels. I think that it's tough to be friends with folks like that, who are just like, this is how I feel. This is what I'm going to say. You do what you want with it. Yeah. I also find it very interesting, and you'll see this as you continue to watch the show. Molly is someone who's extremely independent, but also she is very particular about the men she dates. She usually is like dating and moving on. Issa has been in a 5-year relationship, which is something that Molly even said she wishes she had in the beginning of this episode. So I was very surprised rewatching it to hear that even when Issa is saying, here are the reasons I don't think Lawrence and I are going to make it. This is why I want to break up with Lawrence. He's kind of stagnant. He's not working. He's not motivated. He's not even paying attention to me anymore. He's just too lax. He's too comfortable and sedentary. Molly encourages her to stay. She's like, girl, stay with your man. You got one at least. Is that what you say to a friend when they're telling you the reasons that they want to get out of a relationship that they no longer feel is serving them? No. Molly, where you at, girl? Where the friendship at? Like, Molly, if I'm telling you I want to break up with my boyfriend because he's slapping me, girl, you better support me. So I'm just like, come on now. Why is Molly being so... I feel like as if she's taking everything that Issa says for granted. She's like, oh, you complaining about Lawrence? Get over it. Oh, you want to see Daniel? Don't do that. You want to be happy? Don't do that. You want to get on stage and rap? Don't do that. Like literally in this one episode, you see how Molly is so against this new quote unquote Issa, or the Issa that Issa wants to be. So I'm going to stop there. But anyway, I love this episode. This is just the beginning of it all. This becomes just a whole amazing story that so many Black people in America need to watch. But everybody should watch it, but really Black people, because this is for us. It was made for us, by us, for us. Okay, FUBU. So yeah, get into it, learn these lessons, and try not to be insecure. Like, I understand the name of the show is Insecure. But what we see is the insecurity usually around relationships and communication. So even in this episode 1, Issa and Lawrence actually do communicate a little bit more than I remember. Because when I was first watching this show, I don't remember them having direct conversations about anything. But she was kind of direct about wanting to break up with him. So we kind of already know what's coming up. So I will be reviewing episode 2 very, very soon. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. I am Danielle S. Reed. This is Reed TV, and you are watching my review of Insecure episode 1, Insecure as F. Thanks for watching. Bye.